Boom, baby. What's going on, guys? We're going to talk about UFC. Believe it, what is it, 288 or 270 something? I didn't even see it, but Aljamain Sterling versus Henry Cejudo. Um, I just saw actually breaking news essentially. Bryce Mitchell got pulled out of his fight due to an undisclosed injury. Sounds all too familiar, huh? Against Evelev. Mazvar Evelev. I don't know how to pronounce the guy's damn name. But that's a shame because that fight was going to be sick. I was really looking forward to that. Mavzar, yeah, Evloev. That guy's a crazy good undefeated prospect at featherweight too. So, I was going to be a good challenge to see where he stacks. Bryce Mitchell, coming off that loss to Poria, where he kind of got dominated on the ground a little bit, but I think he had the flu or he had something going on. He was saying with before that fight. We got a Nutella Boomachino right here. We're spicing things up, getting things a little crazy because obviously, what can we do? I just went from the best shape of my life to what the fuck am I doing? Uh, I will touch up on that a little bit towards the end, but I wanted to talk a little bit of Aljamain Sterling, Henry Cejudo. This is going to be a great fight at bantamweight, man. A really big fight with big implications. Honestly, if Aljo could take out Henry Cejudo, we're talking, best of all time at bantamweight. A lot of that's going around. Obviously, Cejudo's an Olympic wrestler, Olympic level wrestler, gold medal. Aljamain Sterling though has that MMA funk wrestling and jiu-jitsu mixed together really well, and I think people get a little bit twisted up with wrestling just being wrestling as far as accolades in MMA, which is not really the case. Like wrestling and MMA can be completely different than just being a amazing NCAA gold medal wrestler, whatever it is, Olympic level. Obviously, if we're talking just wrestling, Henry Cejudo has the edge. But if you're talking MMA wrestling mixed with jiu-jitsu, mixed with the striking, because it all kind of gets blended together, you're talking a complete different game. And, as much as people, say, Aljamain Sterling striking is not this, not that, he doesn't have that knockout power. He strikes scared or whatever. A lot of people say these things, he understands his game, and that's a big thing. He knows where he wants to be at all times. He's a very fast starter as far as like feints and throwing stuff out there. Maybe they're not the most devastating things, but he uses his legs like jabs. Really fast kicks. He can keep you at bay if he wants to. His feints and his movement are very sporadic, so that causes a lot of chaos for having that in front of you. I think Henry Cejudo is a more dialed in, calculated fighter, where he kind of starts with a trotting, cutting the cage off type of motion, little subtle feints in, kind of moves his head a little bit, his body, but he doesn't really do anything crazy sporadic early on in the fight. That's going to be an interesting telltale sign early on in the first round. When Aljo starts with that sporadic fast movement, what's Henry's game plan for that? Is he going to try to cut him off, try to close the distance, try to utilize calf kicks, leg kicks to slow him down? I don't find Aljo to be an easy guy to calf kick or leg kick because he moves laterally a lot. It's hard to find guys like that and to time kicks. What I think Henry is going to have to do more of is cut him off and land some kind of respectable power shot to kind of stop his lateral movement. Um, Henry did, however, do a good job with Dominic Cruz with that lateral movement and cutting him off and timing those kicks that he did land that were damaging and very powerful. I do think that could be a way to get to Aljo. But obviously, Aljo and Cruz are different fighters. Aljo's in his prime. Cruz was kind of on his downfall as far as where he was in his career at that time. Another thing is Cejudo's been out for like 3 years. These things matter in MMA. Obviously he's the highest level of competitors there is. And he's demonstrated time after time. That he can defy odds and beat the bigger guy. So, beating Marias the way he did, where he had to deal with him early on and then kind of took over as the fight went on. But Marias was kind of a guy that we were seeing fades after that first round, where Aljo's not that guy. He kind of gets better as the fight goes on. And he has that devastating back control. If he gets a hold of you, if you slip up once, that's all she wrote essentially. If he gets a hold of your back, I mean, it's not just chokes. His ground and pound, his control, his ability to kind of smother you and make you work from the back is second to none. Cejudo's got that short, compact, explosive style where I don't think he's going to be an easy guy to get a hold of. Number one. Number two, he'd really have to make a mistake for, I think, Aljo to get to his back in this fight. I just don't think he's going to be an easy guy to grab. I don't think he's going to be an easy guy to take down. And I don't think, Aljamain's going to be able to just kind of strike into an entry and take Cejudo down like that. I think it's going to have to happen off of a scramble, or it's going to have to happen off of a mistake that Cejudo makes as far as maybe defending something, and then Aljo can, shoot off of a shot or shoot off of a scramble scenario where he can kind of latch onto his back somehow. However, I wonder if Cejudo is looking to wrestle in this fight, because we don't really see Aljo on his back much. When he is on his back, he's very active. He does throw up triangles and arm bars and different techniques. He is good off his back, and he does have that long legs for triangles and stuff. Not much of a Kimura guy, guillotine guy. I do think he has Darces and Anacondas, but more of on top, than off his back. Um, it is going to be interesting to see if Cejudo looks to wrestle Aljo and kind of cut him off and maybe work takedowns on Aljo, because that is a place where I think Cejudo could do well, is if he can wrestle Aljo and take him down, kind of work his own ground and pound and top position. That could be a route to victory for him, because we don't really see guys do that with Aljo too much. Typically, guys try to strike with Aljo and end up making a mistake, and he capitalizes and gets their back. Um, I do think the fight taking place along the cage area, that outer layer of the octagon, is going to be a big important space in this fight. I do think who can occupy that space and control that space is going to most likely be winning the fight, whether it's Cejudo cornering Aljo, cutting him off, closing the distance with Aljo's back in that area, or whether it's Aljo being able to kind of put Henry on his back foot, utilize kicks, utilize that sporadic movement, those feints to kind of get close to Henry and grab a hold of him. Um, I do think both of those guys are going to have a difficult time even doing that to each other. I think the fight will primarily take place in the center area. Otherwise, if it is outside there, I think it'll be because of Aljo moving around a lot and laterally moving and kind of creating distance until he wants to maybe utilize kicks or maybe draw Henry into that range where he could throw something. And Aljo's strikes are kind of unorthodox. They wing from different angles, and it's kind of a weird style. It's not like very fundamental, like boxing style, but it's hard to deal with, I feel like, because it's a lot of flailing and it's a lot of weird movements, and it catches you off guard, and it sets him up good for grabbing a hold of you if he has to, because it's kind of like, what's coming at me, and he throws it in a sense where he kind of feints and throws fake shots, fake takedowns, and then up into strikes and then back down into takedowns. So that's what I'm talking about utilizing MMA altogether, mixing the game together better, not just being the better wrestler or the better striker or the better jiu-jitsu guy. It's like the better MMA fighter. I feel like a lot of people fail to take that in as a whole versus the individual arts and saying, well, this guy's a better striker, this guy's a better jiu-jitsu guy. Like, sometimes that doesn't matter. It matters more about who can blend things together throughout the duration of the fight. And I feel like Aljo's that guy, personally. I also feel like momentum is a very key factor, and I think Aljo's on top of the world right now with his confidence. I mean, the guy's beat the who's who at the top of the division to get to where he's got, right? He's faced injuries, come back from those injuries, and still beat the best guys. So it's just like your confidence and your momentum is a big thing. Whereas Cejudo, obviously, he doesn't lack confidence, but he's lacked experience as of late, 3 years out of the game. That could play a role in this fight. You know, Aljo's a fast starter. I don't know if Henry's going to start as fast. Um, Aljo's been in the 5 round fights as of late as well, multiple 5 round fights, and to come back from that Peter Yan incident and then dominate him, you know, on the ground and really show a complete different fight is, I think, a big confidence booster for him. And then, you know, beating TJ. Obviously, he had the shoulder injury, and that's kind of a way of people writing it off, but. Still, Aljo went in and fucking smashed him and took his back and did that and felt that and ran away with a victory and all that confidence and all that momentum. And I think that rolls into this fight. Um, Size, right? Size is going to be a factor in this fight. I mean, Cejudo's a 125er coming up. Granted, he's a dense, thick, small guy who does pack power and explosiveness and speed, but Aljo's a physical specimen at bantamweight. He makes a lot of bantamweights look small, and he's a strong grappler. So like even with guys bigger than Henry, he's been able to grab a hold and kind of out position it and um, outwork on the ground. You know. So basically, I see this fight. I see this fight going longer than shorter. You know, I don't know if it will go the full distance, but I lean more towards that than I do the fight finishing early on somewhere. Um, I do think that Henry Cejudo has the ability to land a heavy shot early though, and potentially kind of fluster Aljamain and in the striking realm of things, kind of make him start to become desperate with wanting to grab a hold or get Henry to the mat. I could see something like that. I can also see Henry Cejudo kind of trying to wrestle a little bit and being okay with doing that with his wrestling abilities, and then Aljo kind of causing him to make a mistake and getting the right position that he needs to grab a hold of him and take his back or even get top position on the ground. Um, but I do think kicks will be a huge factor. And I think that goes both ways. I think Henry's kicks, as far as like landing heavy leg kicks or calf kicks, can slow Aljo's movement down and kind of help him land the heavy boxing shots, get inside and land those strikes. Or I see Aljamain's kicks as kind of defensive weapons at keeping Henry away at the distance that he wants him, with that longer reach and just scoring points with a lot of kicks and a lot of volume because that's how Aljo fights. Um, and I think when it comes down to it with the judges, they're going to see that Aljo is the more active guy over time. And I think that's going to come back to get Henry. You know, like Henry's kind of a plotter and a methodical mover and, you know, a feinter and kind of slow pace to find what he wants, and Aljo's kind of a sporadic and high volume kicker, striker, and moves a lot and feints a lot. And I think judges see that, will kind of score that in his factor, unless Henry can kind of land a shot and knock him down and take all those points and all that momentum. So I think Aljamain can get this done by decision. That's kind of where I'm leaning, just based off of the volume, him avoiding the big power shots, and potentially out scrambling Cejudo when it comes down to the wrestling and jiu-jitsu. And the fact that he has that in his back pocket, that secret weapon where his jiu-jitsu is better. You know, like submission attempts count, back control to submission attempts are big. And that's Aljo's expertise. So like Henry doesn't really have an expertise in MMA. It's not like he's a knockout artist. It's not like he's a Khabib where he fucking grinds guys and out wrestles the shit out of them and ground and pounds them to death. You know, it's not like he does that. He wins off of kind of just grit and that competitive spirit where even if he's down, he can land that big shot later on and kind of overwhelm you from there on out. I just don't know if I see that happening in this fight. I do think Cejudo is going to be Aljo's toughest fight, which is why I think it will go the distance. But I'm gonna have to go with Aljamain. I think Aljamain is gonna win by decision, based mostly off of volume and the negating of any kind of substantial takedowns, wrestling, top control, stuff like that. So that's my breakdown of that fight. It's gonna be good. I'll be there. Come say what's up if you're there. Otherwise, I think I'll make a separate video with more of what's going on with me. Maybe I'll go live, do a live video. But thanks for tuning in, guys. We're gonna be doing some more of this. The boom breakdown, baby. Boom.